Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George, or all George. So today I have some interesting things to show you guys. One is about Bitcoin miners and how they are now accumulating. And I'm theorizing whether or not they were the ones to kind of cause Bitcoin to peak out. I have some interesting data to show you guys. And also, guess what? There's going to be a digital euro soon. Yes, that's right. Among other news. So let's discuss. Thanks for tuning in. As always, smash a like, subscribe to the channel. 2 streams every day, 11:30 and 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So make sure you hit that notification bell so you get notified. And follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and CryptosRUs.com. All right, guys. Welcome. A lot of people that are very bearish right now. Looking at overall, Bitcoin is at 31.5. Overall market dominance is still around the same 45%, but of course a lot of red today. Okay, and I'm not laughing to try to make light of the situation, but this is still within the range that Bitcoin has been in for quite some time, right? And there's still sideways movement. There still seems to be weakness, okay? But again, broaden your horizons, look at the bigger picture, and expand your time frame, okay? If you're looking at it day to day, week to week, it'll drive you nuts. It really will. Bitcoin will do. It'll be like this. It'll be like this sometimes, where it just seems like nothing could ever move things up. The needle is always pointing down, and I'm talking about like the fear index and so forth. And there's just times that it's just gonna seem like it'll never recover, that the entire market is dead. But it always does. It always does. So just focus on the bigger picture, the long game, and why you're investing and not trading, right? And then you'll get through this. You'll get through this. We'll get through it together. That is the whole point of this show. So stick with me, stick with each other, and we'll get through this together. All right, but with that out of the way, let me show you. I saw this article, so I started putting one and one in together. And I saw this. You guys know that back in January, February, remember how I discovered F2 Pool and how F2 Pool was selling a ton of Bitcoin and dumping on the market, right? So now I'm putting one and one together. I'm like, did they know something up front? Because look at this. According to Cambridge data, Bitcoin hash power actually fell before the crackdown, actually falling significantly. Which is interesting, which is very interesting. So if we look at this, where did I find it? No, not this. Maybe I closed it. No, here we go. Coin Bureau actually posted this. You could see that, okay, this is the China's electricity for Bitcoin mining, but this basically represents hash power, or it's very close to it. But you could see how, starting from basically Q1 of this year, how China is in the red. I mean, not red, blue. I'm not colorblind. How you could see how it started going down significantly. So it does seem like there were certain miners that was given the heads up, or they predicted it, or they just thought Bitcoin was too high. So it seems like they started selling early. And maybe F2 Pool did get some heads up, I don't know how they didn't know, but maybe they did, right? Which is why they sold off so tremendously, and that's why I was covering them early on. And they were claiming that they were not dumping and so forth, but now there's a lot of data that shows that they may happen, and it's not just them, everyone else. So it's quite interesting how even before China crackdown, this started happening. But let me remind you guys, the more miners that move out of China, you could see the better it is, because the light blue, you could see the share within the US is growing. And you have Kazakhstan that's growing, and Ireland, surprisingly. Is that Ireland or Russia? And then you have a lot of others, but the US share is growing, right? So overall, this is a fantastic thing. And looking at this, you can see the total hash rate, although it dropped down quite significantly recently, it has been climbing back up. So again, the miners are starting to turn up, and that's a fantastic thing because when they're turning up, they're not in China. Okay, so what's my point to all this? Well, I saw this, and this is a really telling story, putting all of it together. So the green, obviously, is Bitcoin's price, going from July of last year, where Bitcoin was still like around 10,000, started climbing up. When we broke 20,000, that's when things got really crazy. Things started moving up really fast, right? But you could see the blue line is how much Bitcoin that the miners hold. And you could see that it was pretty stagnant for a while, and then a huge drop off. And it just so happens that was right at a time when Bitcoin surpassed 20,000. And you could see it started dropping off significantly. Now, a lot of this could be from F2 Pool. I mentioned about F2 Pool. Maybe they started selling off early because they wanted to move out of China, because they do have like a ton of mining farms within China. And it could be other miners that joined in or whatever. But it's very obvious that they started selling off when Bitcoin's price started going up, right? So this could have contributed to why Bitcoin kind of just eventually stalled out, right? Among other things, of course, there's FUD and Elon and all this other stuff, the crackdown, ESG, and so forth, right? But the important thing to note is that this sell-off seems to have stopped. It dropped down to about here, between 1.5 million and 1.51 million, 1.52 million. And you can see now it is looking like it wants to curve back up. So the selling from the miners is done. They are basically accumulating at this point. And that is very, very positive. Miners, we know, they have a significant amount of Bitcoin, right? The 900 that gets produced per day, they basically control all of that. It goes to them. And if they're selling off tremendously, of course, it's going to have a huge down pressure on the price of Bitcoin. But if they're not selling off and they're just holding it now, right? And it's just sitting there and it's just being taken away from the circuit supply, well, of course, that is a positive thing. So this could be one of those bottom indicators that I talk about. There's a lot of bottom indicators, or a lot of things that could be a bottom indicator. So this could be one of the things that miners are no longer selling anymore, and they're just accumulating because the price is much lower now. It's about half of where it was, right? So this could be a turning point. So connecting the dots, 1 + 1 + 1 + 1. I know it's 2 + 2, but I like to say 1 + 1 + 1. Yeah, so there you go. So this whole thing about F2 Pool earlier, right? And a lot of people were wondering, hey, why would F2 Pool be dumping? You know, did they really want to buy back cheap? I theorized maybe they were playing the futures game, options game, and that could still be the case. But it could also be because they got the heads up that China was going to do this, and they just want to prepare and sell off and get out of there. Could be like that too. All right. So that's number one. Number two is, I think this is pretty significant news. Not a whole lot of people's talking about it because people are like, I don't care about a central bank digital currency. Well, the euro, there's going to be a digital euro. Okay, so the ECB just announced that within the next 2 years, they're going to be working on and developing a digital currency for Europe. And this is pretty significant. We know that China already has one, digital yuan. They're already testing out. US is talking about it. And of course, now digital euro is going to be a big thing. Now, what's interesting about this is I think most people already know that most people are not really transacting with cash anymore. Of course, you can have some cash in your wallet, but when you're paying bills, you're paying mortgage, paying whatever, your car loans, it's all digital already. So what's the difference between like just digital fiat and a digital euro? Well, the ECB does clarify that point exactly. Where is it? I'm going to read this off. Here we go. Okay, a digital euro would provide safety just like cash. A digital euro will be direct claim on the central bank and therefore would have no risk, no liquidity risk, no credit risk, no market risk. So digital euro will be offered directly straight from the European Central Bank, and they are backing it. And they're basically saying, because we're the ECB, you don't have to worry about commercial banks, private banks somehow going under and affecting things. It's coming directly from us. So there's no liquidity risk, no credit risk, no market risk. I mean, I think we all like to think that's the case, but whenever a central bank makes those kind of claims, it makes you wonder if if they're overselling a little bit. I mean, all banks have some kind of risk, right? What if when they're launching this on whatever digital blockchain goes wrong and there's a major catastrophe, something that's horribly that went horribly wrong, right? A big hack or something. I mean, there could be a lot of things to it. I think they're from the perspective of, they could just print unlimited money from a liquidity risk. You don't have to worry about it. But again, there's always some kind of risk, right? Endless printing also comes with consequences, as we're witnessing now. So there is risk there too. So anyways, this is coming. So when is the digital USD coming? That's what everyone is wondering. Is Jerome Powell going to come out the digital USD? Is that still being worked on right now? There was reports about the Fed working with MIT to develop something, or is Congress going to let Facebook run them and that becomes the digital USD? I don't know, but it's time for the U.S. to get involved and get ahead of the game, because it seems like all the other nations are moving forward and pressing forward with blockchain, but the U.S. seems to still be standing still. And I like to see the U.S. catch up. All right, what else is there? This is out of left field. Ex-Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin was always thought that he was a big Bitcoin bear. But now he comes out and says, you know what? If you want to buy Bitcoin as a substitute for gold, then go ahead. It's fine. He's not bashing it. He just claims that he doesn't own any, which I have a feeling is going to change. If he truly doesn't own any Bitcoin, I think he probably will get some. But he does claim that he came out the law to allow banks to be custodians, because he does believe a proper regulatory framework is necessary for adoption of Bitcoin and crypto overall. So he's actually not like a Bitcoin bear. It seems like he thinks it's fine. It's just kind of weird. Maybe he couldn't say some of these things while he was still under Trump, while acting like a Treasury Secretary. But I remember some of the headlines, some of the quotes from him was like very, very negative before. But now it seems like he's like, yeah, go ahead. If you want to, be my guest. All right. Last few things. Cardano fans, the Alonzo testnet has moved to a new phase, so they're going with several colors. So white is done, and now they're moving to purple, which means that it's going to be more of an open testnet for Goguen and smart contracts and everything else. So they're still making progress, for those of you guys that want to know. And hopefully when this is all done, this is moving quicker than I expected. So maybe we'll get Goguen live on Cardano sooner than expected. I was thinking about maybe end of the year, but maybe it's going to come out next month or sooner. So that is progress. What else? eMoney, who recently changed up their logo to something really nice. They have integrated now their stable coins to Polygon. And we know Polygon is really building out their ecosystem. And now there's a whole bunch of new stable coins that can be used within Polygon's ecosystem. And this is pretty positive. All DeFi projects, all projects, really anything within Polygon can now utilize these European stablecoins, and there's a lot of them from eMoney, and these ones are interest-bearing and audited by Ernst & Young quarterly to make sure that they're nothing like Tether. And then lastly, I do have a new sponsor, but this is one that I think you guys will enjoy. There's a lot of indexes of projects like CMC, of course, Live Coin Watch, CoinGecko, right? So this one is called Play to Earn, and this one just lists out all the favorite or all popular games that's out there. So that's the whole thing with this is games and with games, NFTs and virtual worlds, but basically anything that's involved with games, this will basically list out. I mean, it's just an index of everything popular, and you could sort it by the chain, right? If you only want to look at things that's on Ethereum, you could sort it out. What about Wax? You could sort it out. Pretty nifty. Of course, you could look at everything, and then you could look at whether or not they're in an alpha stage, beta stage, whether or not they're complete. Also, do they have an NFT, right, within the game? Yes. Is it where can you play these games, right? And it even lists out if it's compatible for Mac and PC or iOS, Android. It's just an all-in-one index of all things within the space. Very, very cool. Very cool. So if you want to check them out, also they have social. They actually measure their social activity over the last 24 hours. That's kind of cool. And there's also a P2E score, P2E, and F2P. So there's everything it's just all in one, right? It's really that simple. So if you guys are into NFTs, you guys are into games, check them out and start using them. Playtoearn.net. URL is in the description of this video. All right, outside of that, that's really it. So let's do some Q&A. See, look at Anthony. Anthony comments, George be giving false hope, though. Man, he just makes it not hurt as bad that you're losing money. Anthony, this is what I said before to several other people that's in this space. Anyways, his message got deleted by Claudio, but I'll just answer that. Here's the thing. If you truly are miserable, you truly believe that things are just going to be dead forever, then why are you in here? Why are you watching crypto videos? You just need to exit, right? So I like to educate people that are basically in the same spot as me. People that want to be a long-term holder. They're investing, right? They want to learn more about what's going on behind the scenes, the fundamentals, right? And also learn about cool new projects. That's what I've been doing for the last 4 years. Yes, I do give a lot of hope because I have a lot of faith myself. If I lost all faith with crypto, I mean, honestly, I would not be able to stream twice a day, every single day. It's just too hard. Too hard on your psyche or emotion, right? Yes, there will be times that's bad, but yes, there's also fantastic times. And people that like to focus on 24-hour and 7-day, a month, 2 months, right? I get it. If you're in, you're new, yes, but don't try to bring others. Don't try to cause more fear and bring more misery to others, right? What you need to do is, if you want to stay, educate yourself and learn why this is happening, right? And that's why I put the 1 year chart here, and you could see that the 1 year performance is incredible. This is what you need to focus. This is not 3 years. This is not 5 years. This is just 1 year, right? If you're looking at that, then you realize what happened the last week or last month or last 2 months is really insignificant. Right? This is what you need to pay attention to. So that's my answer. All right. Scrolling down, got a little sidetracked. Excuse me. Scrolling down. Denzel asks, can you check Deeper Network? It's a Polkadot substrate project. Well, you butchered Polkadot. I think I have seen. Man, I cannot type. I'm pretty sure I've seen this. It looks very, very familiar. So they're about 720 million in market cap. The most secure, private, and fair internet for everyone. Yeah, they're Oracle and they're decentralized VPN. I'm sorry. Yeah, they're decentralized VPN. Something like this could work. It's just, it's very encompassing to try to get everyone to utilize it, to create like a new web that's supposed to be freer, less censored, stuff like that. I get the bigger picture. But I think we're just too early. That's the thing. So I have seen it before. It could work out, right? But I think it is a little bit early. You just need a whole lot. You need a whole lot of people running nodes and a whole lot of people utilizing it, right? All right, scrolling down. Only investors will be Comey downfall. I don't get what you're saying, Dennis. I mean, there's a lot of people that like Ecomi. There's a lot to love about the project. So I don't know what you're saying in terms of why they're spreading FUD. I mean, they have all the licensing, and with that, they can create some fantastic NFTs in the future. So I think Ecomi will be fine. Holdo Up says, George, BTC moments ago did 3 green candles, okay, 1 minute chart followed by media smackdown red. This happens daily. Can mass retail pump at third green to smash the red? What volume? I mean, you need a tremendous amount of money to do so, and you need to coordinate, for everyone to do so at the same time. All these. Really, what I could say is stop looking at the 1 minute chart. Stop looking at the 1 minute time frame or 5 minute time frame. You're just gonna drive yourself nuts. There is program bots, and there's of course whales that's doing a lot of things on spot exchanges. And when volume is low and when things are hairy and there's a lot of fear, of course, it's easier to do. Okay, but we will get through it. The big boys are still buying. Like I said today, miners are starting to accumulate more and more. Seems like that has found a bottom, right? And there's still a lot of buying behind the scenes. So OTC market, I know it's frustrating. Doesn't seem like it does anything to the price. But just know that the reserve of Bitcoin and especially Ethereum reserves is dropping like a rock. And that is fantastic. It's more and more altcoin reserves drop from the exchanges. In the end, what it's going to do is just cause more scarcity. A lot of these projects, of course, Bitcoin has a set supply. The inflation rate is decreasing. They're getting more scarce. Right now, all the price is driven on spot exchanges, and that's just a small portion of the bigger pie. So we'll get through it. Don't worry about minute candles. There's just nothing you could do about it. Jazra, thank you. Ash says, at what price does George think we should panic? There's no price to be panicking at. It's not going to do you any good. The best thing, I've been making note of this, the best thing I've been saying in terms of how to prepare yourself is have cash ready on hand. I mean, that's really it. If Bitcoin falls down to 20,000, if it falls down to 10,000, what can you do about it? Do you want to panic sell at that point? No. You don't want to be panic selling, right? What you want to do is take advantage. So if it happens, what should you do? Should you just panic sell? No, you got to prepare yourself and make sure that you have the opportunity to be able to buy the dips and take advantage. Okay? Just like what happened last year in March when Bitcoin fell down to 3,800 because of the pandemic and, a flash crash, right? People that took advantage profited handsomely, over 10x, right? So That's the best thing you could do. At no point should you really panic. Now, if you invested more than what you could afford to lose, or you're being margin called, you're leveraging, yeah, then panic is definitely real, and you do need to do something about it. Sometimes you do need to cut your losses, otherwise you will get wrecked and liquidated, right? That's different. But if you're investing for long term, right, especially with something like Bitcoin, panic does you no good, in my opinion. In my opinion. All right, I'm scrolling down. I gotta catch up here. Senso, give me some hopium. Well, I just did. Hopium for Chainlink. Chainlink is the biggest oracle by far. No one is close to them. Every single DeFi project utilizes Chainlink, and just know that as DeFi gets bigger in terms of the space, and more projects are within the space, right? They're all going to be looking at Chainlink for their decentralized Oracle networks. So yes. Can you talk about liquidations of today and how it affects BTC price? 30 million longs got wrecked in the last 15 minutes. I mean, 30 million longs it's not really going to affect the price, right? But we have seen days where like $1 billion of longs get liquidated. That's going to affect the price. Overall, a lot of these are happening at derivative exchanges. The order books, is correlated with the spot exchanges. I mean, there's a way they all look at each other. The overall price index takes account of all these order books and so forth, and it does affect it. But, whether or not it affects the order books or the price doesn't really matter, because 30 million still got long. 30 million long still got liquidated. And you don't want to be one of those people, right? If you bought Bitcoin and went down and you're down 5, 10, 15%, well, okay, that's unrealized loss. And you hold it, it could come back, right? But if you're playing leverage and you get liquidated, there's no coming back from it. And then horrible things start happening. Not only do you lose a significant amount of your crypto or profits in an instant, but psychologically, it kills you. It makes you either so depressed that you just want to get out of the game, or it makes you want to do it again and try to make it back. And then it sets you down this road where you keep getting liquidated more and more and more. So, oh yeah, by the way, tonight I'm going to be doing some more DCA into my portfolio, another $100. And today is a perfect time to do so with some weakness, right? That's how you're supposed to do it. You do it, you try to buy when low, right? And then you sell high. Buy low, sell high. Or you could go with the schedule. Eliza, I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm sorry. I'm bad with names, but thank you. Anthony. Okay, George, I have been a long time holder. I know a lot. I do a lot of research. It's hard to lose you over 300,000. It's not easy to keep accumulating and during a downtrend. So maybe I am a point emotional. Well, I get it. Hindsight is always 20/20. You look at things, you're like, oh, I could have sold that and paid off a house, right? I get that. But the important thing is, look at what your next options are. What do you plan on doing about it? Okay? Are you going to sell and take that 300K unrealized loss and make it a realized loss? Or should you just keep holding and wait until it comes back, right? So you have to make that decision. It's a tough decision, but hindsight is always 20/20, right? Everyone always claims, yeah, I could have sold at this price or this price or this price, right? I would have made this much. Yeah, okay, we all make mistakes. Or we should have done something differently. But you have to decide what you're going to do now. Do you want to make that unrealized loss into a realized loss? Or do you want to keep holding and DCA on the way down, right? So you make that decision. But for, coming from someone that have lost a lot more by holding, over the last 4 years, you know, I know it's hard, but it was not the wrong decision now. Okay, so I'm just telling you that based on my experience. So, and a lot of people also have done the same thing. When things are down and your DCA, you may feel like the dumbest person on earth. That why'd I keep putting more money into Cardano? You know, why'd I keep putting more money in ETH, something that can't scale or something that can't finish like Cardano? And why do I keep putting more money into Bitcoin when, you know, everyone is shorting it, right? Until you see it, you know, come back full swing and make new highs, then those doubts go away. All right. I think that's pretty much it. Bruno, I know it's you know, for people that think that the chat is bad right now, wait, or I should say you haven't seen the chat before. And if things get worse, let's just say, wait for that, because then everyone turns negative, okay? Except a very few faithful that continues to hold a DCA. So I'm kind of used to it. As long as people are not nasty, that's fine. I get it's hard to do. I've been saying how volatility is the price of admission for crypto. You can't have something that goes up forever and never comes down. Okay, if something goes up forever, you know there's something wrong with that, and that's really called a Ponzi. But everything else, you know, you have good and bad. But overall, you look at the bigger picture over the last 12 years. What has Bitcoin been doing? What has crypto been doing? And it's been doing like this. Okay, that's over the last 12 years. But if you zoom in to months, you'll see that a lot of times it's doing this. But long, you know, the bigger picture, long game is where it does this, right? This is why we're in it, and you just got to get through it. You got to get through the bad, and then you'll get rewarded with the good. Dope Photography, always appreciate your super chats and your support. Frederick said, I just sold all my crypto because some random person on YouTube chat told me to, said nobody. That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. All right, last few questions. Oh man, I must be really high up on the chat. I must have missed a lot. All right, I love your positivity, Matt. From Matt, thank you. Thoughts on Siacoin? I don't think it's undervalued. It's where it should be. There's a lot of decentralized storage plays. They're one of them. They had some problems before. They're trying to build Skynet with their nodes, but overall, there's a lot of players in this space. So I think they're about right. And for those of you guys watching the NBA Finals, man, Giannis had one of the craziest blocks yesterday. Craziest block. And Middleton is a stud. I'll just leave it at that. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Overall, I know today you might not be feeling it, right? You may not like what you're seeing with your portfolio. So this is why you need to stop checking your portfolio every minute or every 5 minutes, right? Take a breather and realize that, yeah, this is a long journey, long process. Focus on the bigger picture, right? And I think one picture to focus on is this, that the miners is now accumulating, which could be is a very good thing. Okay? So thanks for tuning in. Tune in tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right? Super Mario asked why NFT projects are pumping. Probably because Axis Infinity. Because Axis Infinity has done really, really well. So now others are probably looking at competitors. And by the way, that relates to my sponsor, Play to Earn. Check them out. They have all the games and NFT stuff related that's listed out in a really easy way to look at. So check them out. All right. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.